Wake up and smell the cosmic coffee because this is Just Another Magic Monday. Good morning all, my name is Comet. Welcome to Magic Monday, your astrological forecast for the week of February 6th to February 13th, 2023, what the planets are doing and how we will feel these influences down here on planet Earth. Furthermore, how we will co-create with these influences down here on planet Earth, how to seize the opportunities that the cosmos are doling out, and how to mitigate and minimize the pitfalls, challenges, and headaches that the cosmos is also doling out. And this week is a combination of both. However, let's have a Mercury retrograde is over party in the comments below. Drop a balloon emoji, drop a cake emoji, drop a party hat emoji. Finally, Mercury is entering new territory of the sky, and thus our lives are given the clearance to essentially enter a new chapter, a new era. When Mercury enters a new territory of the sky, our thoughts are a bit different, right? We are contemplating more so of the future rather than ruminating, fixing, and adjusting the past. I will also say the nice shift this week is that Mercury is shifting from Capricorn to Aquarius by the end of the week. And Capricorn and Aquarius are both ruled by Saturn. So they're both rooted in reality. So it's not like you're going to feel the shift and suddenly feel all like sunshine and rainbows, unless you're a sunshine and rainbows kind of person, in which I adore you. But with Mercury and Aquarius, I'm not saying that's the shift that's going to give that to our thought process. However, while both are rooted in reality, answering to Saturn, the difference is Capricorn is the side of Saturn that is about maintaining and ascending. So essentially maintaining the status quo and ascending to the peak of our own ability, which can make our thoughts very kind of harsh, very much pointing out where it is that we do not feel like we are good enough, how it is that we need our lives to get better, this world to get better, right? But it's so rooted in this earth sign that it's hard to envision, well, how is that going to happen? And that's where the other side of Saturn comes in, the Aquarius side, which understands the reality, understands the structure, still answering to Saturn, but is more so interested around, well, how are we going to innovate? Right? How are we going to invite in newness, right? Towards the issues that perhaps Mercury retrograde in Capricorn brought to your awareness since December of 2022. But before Mercury says hello to Neptune, zooms out of the shadows, it has one more stop before it lands in Aquarius by the end of the week. And that stop is to Pluto. And that is a pit stop that can either go very, very well or very, very horribly. And this week's astrology, it's really important that you seize that muscle around striving to take these energies and activate the best possible usage of them, because there's a lot of blessings this week, but they're soft, they're subtle, they're sextiles. Sextile aspect in astrology is an opportunity aspect. It's a maybe, it's a possible, but it's not like every single person will feel this strong, radiant beam, right? I want you to actively take advantage of these energies, actively find yourself zooming in on what it is that you're grateful for, actively seeking out those conversations of what soothes you, actively nourishing those creative ideas within you, right? It's not a given. And that's the interesting thing about this week's astrology. It can truly go either way. It is up to you, because there are some lovely opportunity aspects. We have Mercury sextile Neptune, Venus sextile Uranus, Mars sextile Chiron. Operative word here, sextile. This is subtle. This is soft. This is so gentle that if you blink, you can miss it. So it's really going to take that muscle about proactively seizing these energies, as well as keeping your eye on that Mercury-Pluto to ensure that you're empowering yourself through it rather than distracting yourself through it. So we'll get into it thematically as well as day by day. I just want to give a quick invitation if you are interested in diving deeper into the moon with all of its nuances, how to live in more harmony with the lunar cycles, how to understand the moon within your birth chart more, understanding it for its sign, its house, its phase, its aspects, right? Really understanding this luminary of self-care, of self-soothing, of how it is that you can make yourself feel safe, how it is that you can emotionally support yourself, how you can unlock your intuitive gifts. I invite you to join me for the luminary of self-care. We are kicking off the week of the Pisces new moon. If you want to join for the masterminds, if you jumped in before the 18th, you get access to 2 masterminds, one aligned with the Pisces new moon, all about synchronizing with the moon for optimal business and personal timing, and then the Virgo full moon, where we are going to analyze all of our moons and really pull in some self-care practices. So it's going to be super beautiful. You also get access to me in your Voxer every single week of the program, essentially giving you a little moon forecast, personalized to your chart at the beginning of the week, as well as just available if you need to chat over a certain concept that's coming up within the course, or if you just need some celestial support. I'm your gal and I'm your guide. As you move through the program, I would so love to see you there. You can jump in via the link below or the link in my pinned comment. And without further ado, let's get into vibe check of the week. I need to guzzle this because I am so tired today. Venus in Pisces is just making me such a sleepy girl. But alas, we can't be sleepy because it is vibe check of the week. So vibe check of the week is when we essentially break down the influences of the week ahead and liken it to a real life scenario. So that even if you don't know the intricacies of what Mars sextile Chiron means, Mercury entering Aquarius means, you can begin to relate to the vibe check and thus begin to see some potential ways that it can play out within your universe. So this week's vibe check is when you get pulled out of a spiral. I don't know if you can hear that child screaming, so they feel me on the vibe check. Okay, it's a spiral. I'm not saying we're going to be spiraling this week, but I will say that there is a propensity for it, but there's also a remedy for it this week. So let's get into it. I want you to think of a time that you are spiraling, okay? You are going through it. Maybe you're deeply miserable about something. You're freaking out about something, right? Maybe you're in the middle of a work project and you're so frustrated it's not working. You're on deadline. You feel like you can't eat. You feel like you can't sleep. You feel like you can't do anything. Your house is a mess. Your hair feels dirty. You're just like, everything is the worst and I just need to get this done. I can't stop thinking about it. I'm obsessing about it. And then enter a friend or a partner who's like, hey, maybe we should go for a walk. Maybe we should hang out. Like, come on, let's get back to the big world. And you're like, no, I'm on deadline. Leave me alone. Or like, no, you don't understand what I'm going through. Leave me alone. Let me spiral. Let me ruminate, right? And you're like, what would a walk really fix? What would a walk really fix? I'm not going to find peace until I finish this project, or until I fix this situation, or until I get over this situation, as devastating as it was. Like, I just don't feel like I can return to the big picture because this area of my life is not going well. It's just like zero focus. And that is the energy of Mercury on Pluto. Mercury on Pluto can be very powerful, but your mind can be a tool or it can be a weapon, right? With Mercury Pluto, it can be such a powerful time. If there is something where you are just laser focused, zeroed in on around, I'm going to get this done, right? I'm going to get to the finish line. I'm going to finally launch this thing. I'm going to finally learn this subject. Mercury Pluto is very helpful in that case. But it can also be a weapon, in that Pluto is intensity, right? Into what it is that we want, also into what it is that we don't want. We can easily descend with Mercury on Pluto into fear, into paranoia, into rumination, into obsessiveness, this sort of tunnel vision where you can't even see anything else. You're like, I can't clean my house. I can't eat until I get this done, What do you mean go for a walk? Don't you see what I'm doing? And it's like, oftentimes people outside of you are like, okay, all right, let's take a little break. It'll be there. But like when you're so deeply in it, you can't see how that would possibly help you. And while there's this rumination, there's these nice, subtle, soft, sweet influences where if you blink, you could miss it. When you're deep in the rumination, you can't even possibly imagine the lovely things that you could see on that walk. Like that butterfly that lands on a flower that almost makes you want to cry because it's just so pure and it's so sweet after you've kind of been going through it. Or just the little things like seeing your neighbor's dog and you're like, oh, or even just feeling the wind on your skin and being like, whoa, I'm a person outside of my technology, whoa, right? Or having a conversation with a friend and being like, wow, I don't know why I was isolating myself and I'm going through it. Like, this is so great when we're together. Sometimes we need to just kind of seize those moments because when we're in that thought process, it's not always easy to proactively make them happen for themselves. Does that make sense? Because this week we have Mercury sextile Neptune. So while our thinking might be in a more intense place, with a sextile to Neptune, there is this light influence around being able to tap into the magical moments around us. I was ruminating, but my friend insisted that we go grab some dinner, and now I'm here and this restaurant is lovely and this music is great, and what a lovely evening. versus me being on my computer for the last couple days. We also have Venus sextile Uranus, which is this nice novel flow of energy flowing into our financial world, flowing into our romantic world. We have Mars sextile Chiron, so there is something healing about moving some energy, right? Not stewing in it, moving forward. Even if the walk won't finish the deadline, solve the problem that you're obsessing about, at least it moves some energy, right? So this week, there will be a tendency to want to stew, right? To want to spiral or obsess or try to perfect or be like, if this isn't exactly it, then it's a failure, I'm a failure, it's all horrible. We can easily tilt towards catastrophic thinking this week, right? But there's these little magic moments that are going to help. Even if in the moment you're like, I don't have time for that, I can't, those moments are going to help. It's going to return you to the magic of existence. It's going to return you to new creative ideas, new ways of connecting. And there's also just something healing this week about feeling like you are moving forward, right? Feeling like you are moving some energy. Even if the walk won't fix everything, it'll get your blood pumping. And you never know how differently you'll look at the project when you come back. Seriously. So without further ado, we're going to take it into our day-by-day analysis. I just want to let you know that all times that I mention will be PST, so essentially GMT -8. So make sure to adjust your time zone before putting it into your planner. And I have all timestamps available below if you want to jump to a particular day or jump back to a particular day. And cheers, loves. Let's make it a magical week. So good morning. Welcome to your forecast for Monday, February 6th. If you're still in bed, recovering from that Leo full moon, I'm gonna need you to stay snuggled up, my love. There is no jumping ahead into the day. Do not feel pressured to do so, because not only is it a full moon recovery day, right? The day after full moon does tend to be a day of sort of like emotionally taking in. Some people feel really exhausted after full moon. Some people feel really energized. They can't sleep. It's like restless. There could just be all these volatile energies that make focus a little challenging, or your body might really need this moment. Maybe your emotions need this moment. Let me know how that Leo full moon was for you. I have a deep dive video if you want to kind of reflect on some of the themes it could have brought up based on your chart. But Monday, no rush to get to it, because not only are we recovering from that volatile Leo full moon, right, squaring Uranus, bending the nodes, right, intensity all abound, the moon is also void for a majority of the day. The moon is void 6:15 a.m. to 1:14 p.m. Like, void moons can be fun sometimes, because it's literally a cosmic permission slip, like, love, you just don't have to worry about that project right now. Like, you do not need to worry about, finding new clients. Like, just take a second, okay? Especially if that Leo full moon was overwhelming, just take a second. So some void moons are more fun than others. This one feels not fun because it feels like not productive, but then you're really guilting yourself about it because the Leo moon opposes Saturn. So things feel heavy. It feels rough, right? Like for some people, that Leo full moon, where it really is prompting some major changes within your world, right? And with the opposite to Saturn, it almost feels like this sinking in around the gravity of those changes or of those illuminations. Maybe that's not the story for you. For others, it could just be feeling this weight by responsibilities. Like you want to stay in bed, but you're like, I have to go to work, and all these people keep asking for meetings. Don't they watch Magic Monday? Don't they know it's a void moon? Like just feeling weighted by our responsibilities, not feeling necessarily in touch with our life force, with our joy. Maybe the world feels like it's pressuring from us. Maybe our emotions just feel heavy. The moon enters Virgo at 1:14 p.m. And that's why I'm saying Monday morning, I would not stress yourself out trying to get everything done, because then the moon enters Virgo, and there's nothing the Virgo moon likes to do more than to get some stuff done. Handle the errands, handle the tasks, handle the to-dos, right? Handle the responsibilities. That is where the Virgo moon thrives. So let's let the Virgo moon deal with it. The Leo full moon just needs to recover. It's opposing Saturn, things feel heavy. So allow yourself the space to take Monday a little slower, maybe handle the really mundane aspects of life, maybe handle some laundry, maybe just catch up on some emails. Move into the week slowly and steadily, okay? When the moon enters Virgo at 1:14, you'll be much more inclined to handle all the little details of your life, want to improve all the different facets of your life, so on and so forth. So slow and steady does it. And while we're sort of in this blah, right, Leo moon opposite Saturn, it can be very tempting to stay in the blah. Just like, everything's the worst, this job is the worst, everything in my life is the worst, this outfit's the worst, my hair is greasy, everything's bad. Everything is just bad. There's magic in the air that you could potentially seize, okay? Mercury sextiles Neptune. So there is this energy where it's like, okay, I really don't love my job. I think this is going to be temporary, but at least I had a really lovely conversation with the customer, right? I'm feeling very blah with where I am now, but visualizing about what it is that I want grants me some peace and happiness, right? Like with Mercury sextile Neptune, there's magic, there's spirit whispering to you, but Mercury in Capricorn is so rooted in where it is that if you blink, you can miss it. So it's seriously a muscle that you need to work on Monday around calling out what you are grateful for, around what's going well, around what you are excited for, around what you envision, like play within that realm. Like with the blah energy, it's tempting to stay in the blah, but I guarantee there is some shimmer, there's some sparkle, there's some magic that lurks. You might need to look for it. You might need to go outside. You might need to say yes to hang out with that person, even though you just want to stew and spiral on your own. But there is magic. The universe is whispering to you in a myriad of ways, perhaps through people or through messages that you receive. Like I am telling you, there have been so many times when I've been like going through it. And seriously, like comments from you guys sometimes make my entire day. Like my heart just feels so warm and happy, and I could have been having the worst day prior, but just knowing that someone likes my content, it just makes my heart so happy. So looking for those little moments around what's going well, how is the universe trying to speak through me, what is exciting me at this moment is important to tune into. On Tuesday, we have a mutable T-square building in the cosmos. So the Virgo moon kicks it up. It squares Mars in Gemini. It squares Venus in Pisces, right? People are honking. The Virgo moon is just like being a little worker bee, handling all the little details. I will say on Tuesday, the Virgo moon is a little stressed. It's a little scattered. It kicks off this mutable T-square between Mars and Gemini and Venus and Pisces. And the thing about mutable T-squares is you can feel all over the place, okay? Your energy can feel scattered. You like go to write an email to this person, but then you think about this other project that you should do first. Then you can ask them for approval on that. And then you're like, but to do that project, then I have to reach out to this person. Then the entire day goes by and you didn't even send the email to the first person that you were meant to. You got so absorbed into the fourth or fifth task that you thought about, you were like, oh, that was actually the most important thing. That's why I came over to my computer, was to handle that thing. So the challenge on Tuesday is to stay on track, right? To stay attuned to the details. Again, ground down into the Virgo moon. I'm handling this. And then I'm handling this. Like it just feels like with the moon squaring off with Mars, we could be feeling more maybe frustrated or impatient, just wanting everything to get done, feeling stressed by the mounting to-do list and just being like, okay, whatever. I only read it once, but let's just send it. Mercury technically clears a shadow today, so you're like almost out of the weeds, but just give it extra read through, one thing at a time. Be present and grounded with what it is that you are taking on, especially with the Virgo moon, you know, building to oppose Venus, okay? They're both square in Mars. We could feel rushed. We could feel impatient. Like this is the vibe that I was talking about in the vibe check, where it's like you're in the middle of this work project, just spiraling, just so upset. It's not going well. This thing won't work. And someone's like, let's go for a walk. Let's do something. And you're just like, no. Like sometimes with the Virgo moon, you want this to be done so bad that with a square to Mars, you could be a little frustrated. You could be a little reactive, right? Maybe a coworker is like, where is it? And you're like, I'm trying to do it. Leave me alone. Like we can be a little snappy sometimes when we're a little stressed and a little overwhelmed. So just striving. When you notice yourself, your heartbeat racing, just be like, it's not that serious. Let me just handle this thing. Let me get back to this email. That's been a little technique that I've implemented. Sometimes right when something comes in, this was particular at my corporate job, but right when an email would come in, I would just be like, as per attached, but then I would be like, okay, let's come back to this in an hour. And I'll be like, as per attached. Have a great day. Like sometimes you just need a little distance from something, because sometimes right when something comes in, because of the smokescreen of your own frustration and your own burnout, you're a little bit more reactive than you would want to be. And then you look back on it and you're like, ooh, that wasn't great. So just ensuring that you are being a little bit mindful with your language, right? Really attuning to what needs to get done, trying not to get ahead of yourself, trying not to be frustrated with yourself and others. And honestly, Tuesday is my pick for date night, which is strange because the moon does enter Libra later this week, but when the moon enters Libra, it gets a little too close to that Mercury Pluto, and that just feels like it can get a little sour. So I'm gonna go with Tuesday as the best date night of the week, especially since there is this energy around novelty. And if anything, it's helpful. There might have been frustrations at work day, but at least you can like meet up with someone that you're dating and just be like, you need to hear about this girl Cynthia at my work. You know, like you're able to keep it together at work and just be like, as per attached. have a great day, Cynthia. And then just be like, you have got to hear what this person, Cynthia, did. So maybe it's venting in that regard. And on Tuesday, we have this really romantic Venus sextile Uranus aspect building. And with Venus, it's essentially pleasure. It is love. It is money. It is beauty. And with the sextile to Uranus, we're in the mood to try something new. So it's like bringing back to the vibe check. You know, you had a frustrating day at work and maybe your partner is like, you want to go try that new place? And you're like, oh, I just can't. I have to finish this thing. But then you go there and you have a great time. Like with Venus sextile Uranus, inviting in spontaneity, inviting in a disruption to the day-to-day, right? Which the Virgo moon was like, what do you mean do I want to go to dinner? We have like our chicken, meal prepped. What Tuesday? What do you mean do I want to go out to dinner? Say yes. Be open to spontaneity. Be open to exploring new places. The Virgo moon will be like, we should eat the boiled chicken, but the boiled chicken can wait. Have it tomorrow. With Venus sextile Uranus, you also might feel inclined to like want to dress a little bit different. With Venus sextile Uranus, being open to new ways that money can reach you. Certainly, like I said, this is an opportunity aspect, okay? So it's a soft whisper from the cosmos. It's a soft suggestion, which again, when you're spiraling, oftentimes you could just be like, get out of my face, get out of my face. I don't have time to go to dinner. We can't go to dinner. Where it's like, if your partner asks, say yes. We all have a little bit of spontaneity in our life. If that person, you know, on the dating app is like, do you want to try this new place? Say yes, right? There's just this energy around say yes. And if anything, you know, the full moon's light is leaving. If anything, it just feels like there's a lot of energy kind of stirring. So anything, you could be feeling kind of restless. And it might be nice to see some new stimuli, see some new sights, eat some new food. Hey, I actually have a date that night. I love that. Oh my God, I didn't even realize that. You just live watched me realize that I have a date that night. I've had these reservations for like a month and a half. So like I didn't even consciously realize it was coming up. I don't know why I made it for a Tuesday, but it was honestly probably the only reservation I can get. But it's all aligning. I've been trying to have dinner at this place for so long. It's a space themed like speakeasy, right? So hello, Haley Comet with my space shirt. Me. It's got me written all over. And I remember my friend and I were hanging out and we so wanted to go. And we were like, if we like stop by at like 10 p.m., they'll probably be able to seat us. Like people don't come for reservations all of the time. Like they'll let us in. Literally the look that the door woman gave me, she was like, she's like, we're booked out for the next 3 months. Y'all thought you can waltz over? I mean, she didn't say it like that, but her body language told it all. Anyways, so we'll see how that goes. Love that astrology is supporting me being there. I mean, Uranus aspects, the moon trine Uranus, Venus sextile Uranus, great for a new sort of date night, eating some new food, trying a new workout, and invite in the new, right? So on Wednesday the 8th, I will say, because Venus sextile Uranus happened around 9 p.m. the day prior, PST, I want to let you know that also Wednesday morning, it will be active. So embrace this Venus Uranus energy, right? Embrace a new way of doing your hair, of doing your makeup, of getting ready. Maybe grab a new bakery snack. Maybe have a new conversation with someone at work. Invite in those novel energies into your life. Because like I said, sometimes when we have this kind of like tunnel vision around, I need to focus this, we forget to look around. We need to be like, okay, let's just go for a walk. Who knows what I will see, right? Sometimes that novelty, going to a new place, going for a walk, seeing some new stimuli other than your computer screen can be just the medicine, just get you out of your own head, right? So embrace those moments of spontaneity and novelty. That energy will still be active on Wednesday morning. I want to let you know that Wednesday the 8th has the possibility of being a very productive day, but also a very anxious day. So when it comes to Wednesday's astrology, a lot of mental activities going on. Okay, we've got the moon in a Mercury ruled sign and it trines its ruler, Mercury in Capricorn. It's now, cleared the shadow. So forward momentum, we are moving forward, new initiatives, what it is that we want to make happen. I'm telling you, there is a momentum building. So if there is something that you want to get done, you're like, I've been thinking about this all Mercury retrograde long. I want to make this soap. I want to start this soap business. I want to do it. This is the sort of day where you're like, finally, let me just devote some time and just get this done. How good am I going to feel when the website's up and I have something to direct people towards, right? How good am I going to feel when I have these soap supplies here and I can begin to formulate, right? Like sometimes those sort of projects just take a really intense deep dive of time and then you are able to leverage that for a long time moving forward. And it might be annoying because a lot of times, especially like if you're a business owner, content creator, anything like that, a lot of times those annoying back end stuff, like admin stuff, setting up stuff, a lot of times, like, you don't get money right away from it, but you're setting it up for future you. And that's why Wednesday is really powerful, right? And just to continue to build this project for future you, because you are setting yourself up on a solid foundation. That's the gift of the Capricorn energy. And you'll be able to reap that. Like, I remember I used to work with Anita from Manifesting Money podcast, which I do recommend checking out if you're into that sort of thing. I used to support her with marketing. I loved working with her. But anyways, she told me once, like, she has this really amazing program, and it's 31 days of these like audios. I think she did it in like 2 days, like dedicated, obsessive, just had this idea. It was like coming through her, and she was able to channel all of it in 2 days. And that is a program that so many people have moved through, gotten so many life-changing results from, right? And it just needed that obsessive deep dive to like come through her, right? So all I want to say is, if you have an idea, something that you want to do, this week is really powerful for kind of leveraging that obsessive energy on, let's just do this. Let's make this happen. Maybe I won't see the results for a while, but also with the Venus sextile Uranus, I'm inviting in this new way of money to reach me, this new way of pleasure to reach me, something of that nature. Maybe it's not a business you want to start. Maybe it's a hobby you want to start, something that you want to put out there, right? There is this energy around using your mind for good to build what you want, and also knowing that we could have the propensity to use it for bad. But we'll get there when we get there. All I want to say is Wednesday is very powerful for kind of deep diving into a project that you want to create, something that you want to birth out there, or something at work that you've been annoying, some annoying, spreadsheet you need to make that's going to make your future tasks easier, right? Forward momentum, my love. And with the Virgo moon opposing Neptune, just reel in that Virgo moon when you are obsessing around, what if no one buys my soap? Reel it in. Just handle this step, this step, this step. You do not need to worry about the future steps, right? Reel in your brain, handle these little to-dos, allow these little tasks that you need to do, build some positive inertia forward. You've got this. But I will say what's interesting about Wednesday is that the really fertile energy kind of doesn't kick off until the nighttime. Like, the Virgo moon opposes Neptune, so you could be feeling a little sleepy, kind of head in dreamland, missing important details. And then the evening just feels like that laser focus energy that I was talking about, like with the moon. So you could feel kind of sleepy in the morning, but as the evening continues, feeling that energy around zeroing in, handling these things. So for some of you using that evening time where it's like, I want to sell this soap, let me just get this website up. My future self will be so grateful for this time invested, just using this kind of brainy tunnel vision focus. And then I just want to let you know that the moon will be void at 10:40 p.m. that night. So on Thursday, the 9th, the moon enters Libra shortly after midnight. It'll stay all day. And honestly, we're feeling pretty optimistic because the Libra moon opposes Jupiter. Perhaps too optimistic, because here's the thing about Libra moon. Libra moon wants to be around beauty and pleasure and harmony, and with the opposition to Jupiter, we're just in the mood to say yes. We are in the mood to say yes. If we get our hair done, we're like, add in the deep condition. If we go to lunch with our coworker, we're like, I'll buy your salad. Like, we are feeling very generous, very heart-centered with the people that we love. But I will say, when it comes to work and your coworker's like, will you do this project? You're like, sure, because I'm in a good mood. And then you're in it and you're like, ugh, why did I say that? Like, the shadow side of Libra moon sometimes can be this desire to like kind of peacekeep or harmonize, right? And with the opposition to Jupiter, sometimes we don't always have a realistic grasp on how much money we should be spending right now, on how much realistically we have to do, but you should find that your emotional state is in a little bit of a more optimistic space. And so sorry I keep interjecting with my plans, but I actually have plans next week, which is a departure from what typically occurs in my world, which is essentially just on my computer. But I'm getting out of the house next week, because Thursday, this day, is my Venus return. And loves, if you don't know what your Venus return is or how to celebrate it, check out my Venus return video. I might do another one just because I have so much fun doing them and it's like fun to have them recorded. But it's my Venus return, which is basically your Venus birthday. And it's always just the day that I dedicate towards planting the seeds of what it is that I want for my Venus. So it's always the day I get my hair done. I literally feel like my hair is so gross. I cannot wait to get it done. Does anybody else have that thing, like before they get the hair done, they're like, ugh, it's just the worst. So I'm getting a haircut, I'm getting a facial. I'm a little worried looking at Astrology because it feels like I'm gonna be spending a lot of money, which I kind of knew with the haircut and the facial, but an opposition to Jupiter, oh my gosh, I might try to like buy the whole spa. Like, girl, hopefully I'll just get out with my haircut and my facial, celebrate my Venus day without leaving as a proud new business owner of a salon and a spa. And honestly, you know, when the moon's in Libra, we are in the mood to get along. We want peace, we want harmony, we want enjoyment, we want romance. So just be mindful of people pleasing, be mindful of being overly accommodating, right? And with opposite of Jupiter, I will say it would be aligned to like get with a friend, get with someone that you want, and like talk about what is exciting you guys at that moment, what you're feeling optimistic about, so on and so forth. And that's going to be great counteraction for what occurs the following day. On Friday the 10th, Mercury, the planet of communication, intellect, and thought processes, meets up with Pluto. And this takes us deep into the darker underbelly of the situation. Again, our thought processing can feel more dark. We could be more likely to ruminate on what's going wrong rather than what's going right. We could be more paranoid, more suspicious. I call this like my Reddit deep dive aspect. Like, you know, when you're worried about something, you Google something after Reddit because you just want to hear from real people. Like, has this happened to you guys? Like, oh my gosh. Yeah, you know, a couple searches is enough. You don't need to go to WebMD. This is sort of energy where we can just look for answers online or answers from other people and just obsess. Like I said, the solution is sometimes outside of the problem. But when you're so deeply in the problem, you're like, I can't go outside. How is that going to fix what I'm obsessing and looking to WebMD about? It's like, it's not going to fix it, but it's going to change the way you look at it, okay? So taking those moments, right, as they come up, there will be an energy around obsession, rumination. Maybe it's internal obsession. I'm not good enough. I can't possibly have this soap. I need to finish this project before I'm allowed to have any pleasure. Again, the moon's in Libra. Find balance, right? If you spent 3 hours working, like, it's okay to take a sip of water. It's okay to go eat something. And I'm relaying this to you because I need to learn this for myself, okay? Let's all work on it. Let's all work on it. I have Mercury square Pluto natally. So this energy is how my mind works. And again, it's powerful, okay? When I relay these, I call it Magic Monday because I want us to find the magic in these aspects. Because while I think this can have the propensity to get dark and obsessive, I also believe, because we are so magical, this little community right here, I also believe that we can seek to activate the most constructive usage of this. Again, not minimizing the darkness that you are walking through, the intensity that you're walking through. Certainly, Mercury and Pluto can really draw our awareness to it. But also, remembering our power is a big part of Pluto energy, as well as using our mind powerfully to constructively build what it is that we want. So rather than obsessing on WebMD around this random symptom that came up, like going and moving your body, maybe it won't fix a symptom, but you deserve to live in a good body. You can put your mental energy towards obsessing over beating your mile time rather than obsessing deep diving on the internet, okay? Or let's say you're obsessing about, you know, you feel like your partner is distant. With Mercury Pluto, it's like searching on Reddit, like, what do you guys think? Has this happened to you? Does this mean that they're going to leave? What's going on? Like with Mercury Pluto, it's like using this energy powerfully to maybe have a conversation with that person to see where this paranoia could potentially be happening, or just putting your mental power into something else. It's not always easy. I don't mean to say this as though it's easy. It's something that I'm still really struggling with. And this week's vibe check is very much inspired by this happening to me last week. I was on deadline, so I was obsessed. I was obsessed with getting this done. I mean, I was staying up until 2 a.m., set my alarm, wake up at 5 a.m., keep going. And my boyfriend came over at 5:30 and I wasn't doing well. Needless to say, I was not doing well. He came to my office and he was like, we gotta go for a walk. We gotta go for a walk. I mean, my hair was greasy. I was still in my starry PJs from the morning because I'd just been working my PJs all day. I had Celsius cups all over. I had like my little lunch meal, like half-heartedly heated up, but then it wasn't hot enough. And instead of just make sure I was hot enough, I just didn't eat it. So I like just didn't eat all day. And I was just frazzled. I was like, I've got to get this done. What do you mean go for a walk? I need to get this done. I need to get this done. I need to get this done. And I mean, I was in a bad mental state. Clearly, I was not doing well. But he was like, you need to go for a walk. So I was like, what's that possibly going to change? And literally going outside, it was like sunset and it looked so pretty in my neighborhood. And I saw a dog and I saw a butterfly. I went to the local market and he bought me this like stupid healthy soda. I don't know, this expensive healthy soda. So I had something fun to sip on. It was like I was out of my mental just like obsession and rumination. Now again, it was in like a really, it wasn't a great mental state. I wasn't being very nice to myself. I was not taking care of myself. I was just obsessed, right? And going outside, it's like I was brought out of my own awareness. Like I was attuned to, oh, look at the pretty flowers, and oh, look at my neighbor's dog. And then we went to the market and I was like looking at the labels of everything. Again, it didn't solve the problem. I still had to do the deadline. I did feel different. Being in actual clothes, putting some actual food in my body, getting outside, feeling the wind in my skin, it did feel somewhat better, right? And with Mercury, Pluto, and Capricorn, like we could just be obsessed about how things are, like the injustices, and just be like, oh, it's not fair, who has the power, da-da-da. We could be paranoid about the people in our life, like so convinced, like, oh, this person doesn't love me, or this bad thing's going to happen, when it's like, okay, let's just calm down. Is that the case? Or are we just like a little bit on edge in our minds, just looking for something to blame it on, okay? But taking those little moments to go for a walk, okay? Taking those little moments to make sure you're taking care of your body. Drink some water, okay? You're more than just a brain, you're more than just your job, you're more than just your to-dos, you're more than your responsibilities, right? You're a soul, you are a body, you deserve to take care of both, okay? And sometimes when our mind is so hyper-focused, gotta get this done, gotta solve this, we forget about those other pieces, when maybe the answers that we seek can't be understood by the mind, they need to be felt by the soul, right? Maybe that issue that you're running into at work, or that issue that you're running into with your relationship or with your body, maybe you'll look at it differently when you are going for a walk, when you are in a conversation, right? If you can relate at all, I feel you, I am you. If someone gives you an opportunity to go outside, or if you just need to make yourself go outside, move your body, do something that makes you happy. There will never feel to be enough time. There will never be this perfect gap of time where it's like, there's absolutely nothing that I need to do on my to-do list besides take care of this. But those moments that you feel like you can't take a break are honestly the moments that you need to take a break the most, okay? So please, please, please strive to give yourself that on Friday if you are noticing the negative effects of that Mercury Pluto. I am so sorry if the camera angle is different. After I told that story, I like checked in for a moment and I was like, wait, have I ate today? Have I been taking care of myself? Have I been drinking water? So I took a little self-care break. I was like, how can I be here talking about Mercury, Pluto, and the propensity to perhaps get obsessed at the detriment to your own well-being? So I've got my water, I just ate a little snack, and we are getting back to it. Like this week, I'm telling you guys, let's really take that moment. Let's really take that moment to take care of ourselves. It's not always easy, especially when Mercury is under the stress that it is. But let's check in with ourselves and take that moment. Even if you're in the middle of something, like gotta get this project done, I can come back to you so revitalized. I have a snack in my belly, I have water, all's well, feeling calm. Okay, so let's get right back to it. And one thing I also want to highlight, you know, the moon's in Libra all day on Friday, and Libra moon is about balance, right? So we're aiming for this balance. And when it comes to our communications with Mercury, Pluto, we could also be reading into what people say, right? Like your boss emails you something and you're like, what does this mean? Or with Mercury, Pluto, you know, your words can be a little bit more intimidating than you would imagine. So with Mercury, Pluto, understand the power that your words have. Understand the power that you have, right? Understand the power that words can have. And that goes on both sides. Like you might get some communication on Friday, maybe from boss and authority figure, something of the nature where you're just like panicking, obsessing, maybe from partner, you're like reading into what it is that they say. But also understand that within our language, we can be a little, at times, I'm not saying the people here would do this, but I'm just saying when it comes to our language, we can be a little bit more manipulative, right? We can be a little bit more intense or intimidating with our language. So observing where people are doing any sort of power plays or manipulation attempts with you, and also just resisting kind of succumbing to those lower level base instincts, right? Like Pluto can go deep, it doesn't have to be destructive, it can be constructive, but just knowing that our words can either be constructive and destructive, whether receiving them or relaying them. And with Libra moon trining with Mars, you know, we can be a little bit more reactive, and maybe it's not even our own stuff. Like Libra moon, beyond just even balance, harmony, Libra moon is about fairness and justice. So there could be this energy around, it's just not fair, it's just not just, it's just not right. And our Mercury, Pluto just obsessing about it, okay? And with the Libra moon trining Mars, like wanting to do something about it, wanting to advocate. Of course, advocate within your own way. Use your words as powerfully as possible. but understand that obsessing doesn't necessarily solve the problem. So just something to keep in mind. That evening, the Libra moon trines Aquarius sun, so it is helpful for connecting and collaborating, maybe having a deep talk with somebody in your world. Now separating, because Mercury conjunct Pluto happened early in the morning. So you could also feel the Mercury-Pluto influence kind of build the day prior, but it does exact around 9 a.m. on Friday, and it is helpful for deeper conversations. We don't want to go surface level. Like when you were spiraling and a friend was like, let's hang out. If it's someone that you feel like you have to act and perform for, you're like, no, I can't fake it, right? Pluto is about going deep. So I want to be around people who I can go deep with. And like when you're spiraling and your party friend hits you up and is like, let's go out, let's dance. Like you might love that person, but you're like, I'm not in the headspace where I'm able to be at that level with you, right? I just want to be with my friend who I can like maybe be in my PJs and eat food with, or go see a movie with, like who I don't have to pretend, right? Who I can honestly be honest about what it is that I'm going through or anything of that nature, such as the nature of Pluto. So a great time to be around those individuals. And don't feel like you have to make a decision now or speak out now or anything of the nature. With Mercury at the anaretic degree on Friday, like there's this urgency, right? And it's with Pluto. So there's an urgency that we feel like we need to respond. Moon trines Mars, so there can be this energy around wanting to act on our instincts. Not a bad thing, but just checking in. Like I said, sometimes there's a little delay in between when we get a potentially upsetting message or learn something potentially upsetting. Sometimes that delay makes all the difference. Checking in, being like, okay, where is my response coming from? How can I use my words as artfully as possible, knowing how powerful my language is with this Mercury on Pluto. So on Saturday, the 11th, Mercury enters Aquarius at 3:22 a.m. So new territory for Mercury. And Mercury's our thought processes, our intellect. So when it comes to Mercury and Aquarius, we're using our mind differently. Like I said, with Mercury Capricorn, we're fixed to what needs to be fixed, how can I build, how can I get ahead, being very starkly rooted in where it is that we are now. Mercury Aquarius, while still rooted to where it is at now, has the space to be able to say, okay, what do we need to innovate? With this fresh new energy, all planets direct till April, right? Mars clears the shadow in March, but we do have a lot of forward momentum going on right now. What am I going to use this time to build? What am I going to put out there, right? How am I going to innovate? What bothered me during Mercury retrograde, or what cracks in the foundation stood out to me during Mercury retrograde? What ambitions do I want to build that Mercury retrograde sharpened into focus? How do I want to innovate my life, right? And this kind of speaks to a overall kind of theme of February's astrology, which I wrote about in Magic Monthly. Just a PS, if you want to jump in for your digital astrology planner, I always write you a little horoscope. I write you about every transit so you can look ahead, customize it for your chart, all of the things. But I wrote about this in February's monthly astrology synopsis, is this tension, because this month is making us look reality square in the face, right? It's making us look at it. Like the Aquarius sun meets up with Saturn later this month. We have Mercury, even in its new sign, is still answering to Saturn, reality, right? We're having to face reality. We're having to face where it is that we are now. But the challenge and the struggle and the tension of this month is to be where it is that we are now, while also knowing that where it is now doesn't encapsulate all that we are and all that we will be, right? The challenge is to both observe the lessons of where it is that we are working towards at this particular moment in time, while also being open towards the shifts of where it is that we are going next, having the space to be able to dream, to allow ourselves to be present within the reality without letting it consume us, right? To blend these worlds around what it is that we are dreaming and where it is that we are now and how those two are fusing together. This is the tension of this month. And I will say with Mercury in Aquarius, there is this energy around what is it that I want to innovate, as well as connection is huge with Mercury in Aquarius. Wanting to connect, wanting to have community and friendships. Like sometimes, spending time with other people kind of gets you out of your own stuff, right? In your own mind. And even if you are like me and you have a tendency to like self-isolate when you're going through it, you can find that if you do have that call, reach out to that person on social media, like it does make you feel seen for that moment. Even though the problem's not solved, it takes you out of the problem for a little bit, right? So with Mercury in Aquarius, we could also find that we are more inclined to want to connect with our friendships, with our communities, with our like-minded individuals, brainstorm new ideas, right? And I will highlight Saturday morning's astrology. There is a productive little pocket of time in the morning, maybe, doing laundry or cleaning. Let me know what days of the week you guys typically clean. I love cleaning on Saturday. If I don't have consults, you can find me at every given Saturday cleaning. It is my thing. And you'll know why if you watch my planetary days of the week video. Like Saturn's all about responsibilities. I could also see cleaning on Monday or even Friday if you want it to be beautiful. But anyways, Saturday's morning is kind of helpful with the Libra moon trining Saturn. Again, try not to get too overwhelmed within your thoughts with the Libra moon squaring Pluto. Ground yourself, do something physical and tactile to get you out of your brain with those thoughts. And the moon will be void from 8:41 a.m. to 10:34 a.m., at which point the moon enters Scorpio. So even though it's breaking its tie with Scorpio, we're still going deep, right? Mercury, Pluto may have separated, but we're still kind of feeling it. They're still gathered together, even though Mercury's in its new sign, with the energy in Scorpio feeling things pretty intensely, especially since we are building towards the last quarter moon. Again, is a crisis moon point where with the moon in Scorpio, we are really diving deep and we're observing what it is that we are ready to release. So allow the extremes as it relates to emotions on Saturday. I will also highlight move some energy, okay? You don't have to work out if you don't want to, but that would be my suggestion because the Mars in Gemini sextiles Chiron in Aries, okay? Movement. Not even just like in a physical way, like moving your body, just doing something different, stimuli, right? Because that Mars is answering to Mercury conjunct Pluto. And sometimes when we are so absorbed, we're not seeing particular things. It takes movement, seeing some stimuli that we're like, oh, maybe that's why that piece of code isn't working because I haven't fixed this particular bug. Like sometimes it takes us just having some movement and not obsessing and stagnating for us to be able to think of a solution. And there can be something very healing about movement. Well, I could see you also encouraging this movement via just doing something different, right? Just playing a video game to take a little break, or, you know, cleaning your house just to take a little break, like allowing yourself to do something physically to move some energy, get some excitement. I will also say, working out, my love, exercising, walking. Oh my gosh, there is, in my personal opinion, again, I'm very partial to this, but I believe there's nothing in this world better for your mentee than some movement, quite honestly. That spiral I just talked about, like I don't think I had worked out for the past couple of days. And obviously that wasn't contributing to the problem. The problem was the deadline. But I probably would have gotten that deadline done without multiple breakdowns had I been taking care of myself, right? Like that is something so big for my own personal self-care. Editing Haley here. Just wanted to pop in and share that each of us is so incredibly different and nuanced in terms of what it is that brings our emotional landscape back into balance, what brings us back into that neutral state, right? And throughout this video, I reference what it is that works for me, my chart, my life, which is, you know, walk around the block, some movement. And I by no means am I saying that's a one size fits all. That's what's so beautiful about each of our charts is that our own individual needs, what it is that feels like safety, what it is that feels like nurturing, our moon, it's also incredibly different. Like for me, a Virgo moon in the 12th house, some movement, some time in solitude, looking for signs, like those are things that bring me back into balance. But if you are someone, let's say, where you're a Libra moon in the 5th house, perhaps it's something such as creativity or attuning to your inner child. So I by no means am I saying that the methods that I reference within this video are one size fits all. And if anything, that's why I'm so passionate about my forthcoming moon course, because understanding our moon is really understanding how it is that we can bring ourselves back into balance when we are going through it. What it is that self-care and nurturing looks like for our chart based on all these nuances, moon by sign, house, aspect, phase, all of these things factor into how it is that you can best care and keep for your soul and for your emotions. So I'm sending you so much love. Have a beautiful week. And when the moon enters Scorpio, it does kind of clash with Mercury and Aquarius. So with this fixed energy building, we might not see eye to eye with other individuals. Like I said, with Mercury, Pluto, like this is the sort of energy where you're in an argument with someone and you accidentally go too far, right? You accidentally poke at one of their triggers or bring up the thing that you guys don't talk about, right? Especially with the building crisis energy of the last quarter moon and Mercury, Pluto still separating. So if you aren't seeing eye to eye, like this isn't the time to control and manipulate and force. Because again, with Mercury, Pluto, we can use this power for good or for evil. Use it for good and just understand, okay, they can have their truth and I can have mine, and we don't need to, force our truth on the other person. This just feels like a battle that we can't win. And with the moon, Mercury, battle of the mind and the heart. The Scorpio moon is feeling something very deeply. Mercury in Aquarius is like, nope, I don't think that's a good idea. Allowing that tension to be what it is. Don't feel like you need to take action right away. And then on Sunday, the Scorpio moon opposes Uranus and Taurus. So being open for surprises, which Scorpio moon wants control and Uranus is like, you thought You thought. So my best advice on Sunday is just be open. You might have this big plan to do laundry and your laundry machine is broken. You might have this big plan to go spend time with your friend and they have the flu. You might have a plan to have a picnic, it's raining. Allowing yourselves to not make it the worst thing ever, right? And just taking it as it is and just resisting temptation to make it the worst thing ever, right? And just taking it as it is, right? Just strive not to get too attached and just embrace the blessings that come in. Pivot if need be. Like if you're gonna go for a picnic with a friend, why not have an indoor picnic? Like find those little moments of fun. And that is our week, my love. So the Magic Monday mantra of the week is I build my future. Okay, with Mercury, Pluto, with a strong Pluto aspect this week, you can use this to build your future or to destroy. Okay, like I said, with Mercury, Pluto, we can use our words to build, empower, or we can use them to destroy, intimidate, manipulate. You are being asked this week to walk this line between being able to use this tunnel vision, this empowerment in a intentional way rather than an obsessive or an at all cost sort of way, right? Like a lot of really powerful speakers have Mercury, Pluto because their words have a bite to it, has a power to it, right? But also a lot of bullies have strong Mercury, Pluto aspects. So we are towing the line, whether you're bullying yourself, bullying other people, like it's just important that we are using this energy to build other people up and to build ourselves up, build the future. Because like I said, there's these lovely sextile aspects. Mars sextile Chiron is this energy around moving some energy and finding this energy of healing, right? It's this energy around taking action to stick up for the underdog, stick up for the disenfranchised, stick up for ourselves, maybe embrace our own healing journey. Venus sextile Uranus, finding novelty and spontaneity within our week. Mercury sextile Neptune, staying open to messages from spirit, messages from our angels, right? Because there are times like, sorry to keep bringing it back to this, but when I was just not doing well and I asked for a sign and it showed up via, like comments from you guys and just like seeing numbers, like there was just little whispers around, you got this, it's okay, it's a bad deadline, it's not a bad life. Those little moments, but you gotta look for it, right? You got to ask for it. You have to be able to pay attention to the subtle intricacies, because when it comes to sextiles, if you blink, you can miss it, right? So actively with Mercury, Neptune, looking for those moments of magic, looking for those moments of synchronicity. With Venus sextile Uranus, looking for those moments of novelty within your relationship, looking for perhaps new monetary projects that you would want to do or new ways of expressing yourself. With Mars sextile Chiron, looking for ways to take action towards your own healing. And with Mercury, Pluto, looking for ways to empower yourself and empower others, looking for ways to build your future. Because this conjunction lands in the sign Capricorn, which is about ascension, which is about building, right? But with the energy in Pluto, we can build a building or we can tear it down. We can tear it down through our fear and our paranoia and our destructive nature. So using this energy to build what it is that you want. Like I said, Pluto aspects are a sort of energy where you could just go into this weird rabbit hole and create something that, you use for a long time or that benefits you for a long time, right? This is the sort of like energy that while you're in it, like it's important not to get too in it, especially if it's affecting your mental health, but it can be powerful. If some of you are like, I have this idea within me, I just don't know, I get suspended in guilt, I'm just unsure. Make it. Do it. Use this energy. All planets are direct, okay? And with Mercury, Pluto, you can be subject to some inner bullying, right? Like you'll never be good enough. You can't do it. Use your words to build your future rather than ruminate on your past, okay? Use your words to build your desires rather than expand on your fears. Use your mental processes to contemplate what could be rather than ruminate on what is not within your life at this particular moment, okay? Your mind can be a tool or it can be a weapon, and use it intentionally as a tool this week. So my loves, that is our week. I would so love to see you within the luminary of self-care. You can jump in below. I would so love to have you. Comes with a personalized reading from me, weekly voice memos, 2 masterminds, 4 weeks of video content, all of the things. Would so love to deep dive into the luminary of self-care with you all. My Instagram handle is @HaleyCometAstrology. My TikTok is the same. I would so love to connect with you over there. And until we meet again, drink lots of water and stay magical.